The city was cruel to those who had nothing. Rain drizzled over cracked pavement, the smell of rust and oil mixing with smoke from broken street lamps. In the alleys of District 12, people like Elias were invisible, just another homeless boy, thin, ragged, barefoot, clutching a torn blanket that was the only shield between him and the biting cold of the nights. Elias had grown used to hunger. He had grown used to people stepping over him as if he were trash. But he had never grown used to loneliness. His parents had died years ago when the factories collapsed, and since then, the city had treated him like a ghost. That night, as thunder rolled across the sky, Elias heard something strange. Not the drunken curses of men leaving the taverns, not the mechanical groans of garbage drones. It was the cry, low, wet-paned. Curiosity pushed him toward the sound. Down a flooded alley, between stacks of rotting crates, something stirred. At first Elias thought it was a wounded dog, but as lightning split the sky, he saw the truth. It was an alien. Its skin shimmered with faint scales, a pale blue that almost glowed in the darkness. Its chest rose and fell in ragged gasps, each breath sounding like broken glass. Blood, thicker, darker than human blood, seeped from wounds along its side. A jagged spear shaft was still lodged in its ribs. Elias froze. Aliens were stories whispered in hushed voices. Warriors from the stars. Invaders. Monsters. The government said they had been repelled years ago. But now, here one was broken and dying at his feet. The alien's eyes cracked open. They were golden, full of pain but still burning with dignity. Its lips moved, whispering something in a language Elias could not understand. And then in broken human tongue, it croaked. Cold, so cold. Elias swallowed hard. His whole body shook. He should run. He should tell the guards. But something in those golden eyes shattered his fear. This was no monster. This was someone who was suffering, just like him. He looked down at his blanket, his only possession, the one thing that kept him alive at night. For a long moment, he hesitated. Then he knelt, gently. He laid the blanket over the alien's trembling body. "It's not much," Elias whispered, voice breaking, "but it's warm. You can have it." The alien blinked slowly, its lips twitching in what might have been a smile. Then it closed its eyes, clutching the blanket with surprising strength. Elias stayed with it until exhaustion pulled him into sleep. When dawn came, the alley was empty. No alien, no blanket, only a faint smear of dark blood on the ground. Elias felt his chest tighten with despair. He was colder than he had ever been. Without the blanket, the winter air sliced at his skin like knives. Still, he didn't regret it. Somehow, giving away had made him feel human for the first time in years. He didn't know what came next until the ground shook. At first, he thought it was thunder again, but then came the sound of boots. Not human boots. Heavy, measured, too many to count. Elias stumbled out of the alley into the marketplace and froze. They were here, 200 aliens, warriors, towering and armored, their scaled skin glinting beneath morning light. Their eyes glowed gold, their weapons gleamed like fire. The people of the city screamed, scattering in every direction. Guards rushed forward, raising rifles, only to be thrown aside like dolls. The alien army moved with precision, parting the crowd, advancing toward the heart of the district. Toward him, Elias fell back, heart slamming in his chest. The lead warrior, taller than all the rest, stepped forward. His armor bore the marks of rank, etched silver symbols across his chest. His golden eyes scanned the crowd before locking on Elias. The boy trembled. I didn't. The warrior dropped to one knee. The crowd gasped. 200 soldiers followed, kneeling as one. The leader's voice rumbled like thunder. "The prince of our people lives because of you, child. You gave warmth when death's shadow closed around him. You gave without asking. Such honor we cannot repay with gold or land." Elias' mouth fell open. Prince. From the ranks stepped a familiar figure. The alien from the alley, now dressed in armor, wounds bound. He still held the tattered blanket around his shoulders like a sacred relic. His golden eyes met Elias's. You gave life, he said, voice stronger now. So now you are life brother to me and blood friend to my kind. The alien prince raised his hand. The army slammed their fists against their chests in unison, a sound that shook the marketplace walls. From this day, the prince declared, no harm shall touch this boy. Any who raise hand against him raise hand against us. And should he call, 200 warriors will answer. The city stood frozen. Guards lowered their weapons. Merchants hid behind stalls. People whispered Elias's name as if it were legend. The boy could only stare, shivering in the cold, overwhelmed by the impossible turn of fate. Just last night, he had been a ghost. Today, he was something more, something no one could ignore. The prince stepped closer, resting a clawed hand gently on Elias's shoulder. You gave away your only warmth, he said softly. Now you shall never be cold again. And as the alien warriors rose like a wall of steel and fire around him, Elias realized the truth. One small act of kindness had changed everything. But kindness is never without cost. In the days that followed, the city buzzed with fear and awe. The government demanded answers. Why had an alien army appeared? Why did they kneel before a homeless boy? Some called Elias a savior. Others called him a traitor. Offers came, money, shelter, power. But Elias refused them. He stayed close to the prince, learning the language of the warriors, listening to their stories. He discovered that their people had been betrayed by humans long ago. They had fled, hunted, scattered. The prince had come in secret, searching for allies, but had been ambushed by bounty hunters. If not for Elias, he would have died alone in the filth of the alley. Now, because of a single blanket, an alliance was possible, but others would not allow it. Whispers of assassination reached their ears. Enemies plotted in the shadows. And as the bond between Elias and the aliens grew, so too did the danger. The boy who once had nothing was now the most important figure in the city, and everyone wanted to use him. Still, when Elias lay under the stars at night, the tattered blanket wrapped around the alien prince instead of him, he felt something he had not felt since his parents died. He felt home, and he knew, deep in his heart, that this was only the beginning of a story far greater than himself.